Hello everybody and thank you for joining me. This is Sierra from Sierra T Designs, and today I have this Distress Oxide Ink Blended Exquisite card to share with you. So just jump right in. So to start, I am going to start with my ink blending, and I used 4 different oxide colors. I have Salvaged Patina, Broken China, Seedless Preserves, and Villainous Potion. And this is sped up. I don't blend this fast, although that would be pretty amazing. And I did kind of have to give a bit of a simpler card this week, because I just finished training for a new job, and with how my schedule's going, I'm struggling to make things someday, to have the energy to make things. So I got up and I worked a 10-hour shift, and then I came home to make this card. So I had to go for just a bit of a simpler card. And for me, when I want something a bit beautiful but simple, I really tend to gravitate towards oxide ink blending because I love how it looks, and it always turns out really pretty, and it doesn't take a ton of effort, at least not for me. I know some people struggle with blending, but blending is one of my favorite things to do, and one of the things that I started doing when I started card making was I got really into ink blending. So this is kind of one of my favorite techniques to bring out whenever I'm struggling a bit creatively. And as for the stamp set, it's the new, it's new, the Exquisite stamp set by Tim Holtz. It came out with the Halloween stamps this year. Although, I don't get a Halloween vibe from it. Although I guess, you could make it a bit creepy. Mine is not going that direction. So I just think that it's really pretty. And when I stamp it down, I had to stop and stare at it because it was so pretty. And I do kind of mess up this card a little bit, and I'll show you how I fix it later on in the video. But it was just a lot of fun to sit down and ink blend, which is something that I don't do as much lately. And I think I might have to go back to it just because I always love how it turns out. So you see me ink blending my 4 colors together, and I use domed foams. I find them to be the easiest way to ink blend, especially for me, because it never puts any kind of funny marks down on the cardstock. Whereas the flat foams, I do find, will leave half circles when they touch the paper, so it's a little harder to get a nice blend. So I did kind of use the dome foams, and I usually don't have any issues that way, but I have also been ink blending for quite a while, so I usually don't struggle that way anyways. And then I'm going to trim it down just a little bit so that I can have my black and white mat. It's just kind of something that makes me happy every time I make cards, so I do kind of tend towards techniques that I am really proficient in, so that when I'm struggling a bit to make something, or I don't have as much time as I'd like to have, I can kind of make a card a little bit quickly that's still beautiful, and then I can share that with you guys. So I did trim off 1/4 of an inch for my blended panel, and then 1/8 of an inch on my black mat on both sides, so that I would have a small border around the whole of the card for the white layer and the black layer. And then I brought in a stamp from the Noteworthy stamp set, which is also by Tim Holtz. It's been out for a little while now. And I'm slowly working through all of the stamps in there. They are just great inspirational sentiments, and I'm just kind of trying to use them all slowly. So there are quite a few in that stamp set, and I think I've used, maybe a handful so far. And I just think that they're a great addition to each card. So I white heat embossed that sentiment onto my card, and then I brought in the Exquisite, the big floral from that stamp set, and I'm just going to stamp that down in black ink. I do find that because it's red rubber, you get so much detail, and it just ends up looking stunning, and I love how this looks. And I kind of intentionally positioned it that I got this kind of curve here, so it kind of went around the card really pretty. And I had to stop here, and I stared at it for a minute because I was just so in love with how pretty and detailed it is. And then I cleaned it off really well, and now I'm going to stamp it in the inside of my card. So I have my card folded over on the inside of my Misti here, and I am going to bring in Seedless Preserves to stamp that stamp again in the inside of the card. And I only inked up a little bit because I'm going to have it hanging off. I just want a little bit of something on the inside to kind of add a little bit of extra. And even right there, it's stunning. This is just a really pretty stamp set. And you could absolutely creep this out and have it be more of a Halloween-esque image, but I didn't do that for this. I have a really soft spot in my heart for florals. I love floral stamp sets, and this is no exception to that love. So I did kind of smear a little bit of the ink, so I brought in some Perfect Pearls I have mixed up in a mini mister bottle, and I just kind of splashed those on the panel just to add a little bit more extra interest. And I'm going to show you here in a minute where I made a mistake. I'm going to get an ink smushed fingerprint on my panel, and then we're going to have to fix that. So I did take that little bit that I trimmed off earlier and put it in the inside of the card just because I thought that that would look really pretty. This is totally extra. It doesn't need to be there, but I think that it's really pretty to kind of bring the outside to the inside, and I like how that kind of looked. And then I did also bring in that slim piece of the black that I cut off as well and just adhered that down on the bottom for a little added interest with that stamped piece there. So here my black ink is not quite dry, and now I knew that it wasn't, so this is 100% on me. I was trying to make this card quickly so that I could go to bed to get back up this morning to go back to work for my another 10 hours. And so I was rushing a little more than I should have been. And here I'm going to touch the black ink, and then I'm going to touch the sentiment, and it's going to happen right there. And I just left a fingerprint. So we are going to fix that to the best of my ability because I don't have time to do another card, and I don't think you should have to. I think that we can fix most things that go wrong in a card. I think they're usually pretty good, and honestly, I don't strive for perfection. I don't think it's achievable, and I don't think that anybody would ever say something negative about a card I'd made because there was like this little ink smear or anything like that. So you can see there, that's where I put my fingerprint, and I'm going to take that Salvaged Patina blending tool, and I'm going to blend it over top of that ink smear. The ink smear is dry at this point, and I did get some ink kind of in a few different places, so you're going to see me kind of clean it off with my finger. I brought in, and I didn't record this because I did it later, I brought in a white gel pen and just went over the bottom of the card to get that Salvaged Patina off of the white layer. And I also brought in a black Copic and went over the black matte just to tint it black a little bit more. You can still see a little bit of the oxide through it, but I think that this really covered it up well. And then of course I just added a sequin on top of it because why not? So that is how the card turned out. You're going to see my fix here. It's not perfect, but again, I don't strive for perfection. I strive to just have a good time and share something that I love. So I think that it's turned out really pretty. So that is the card I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll consider leaving me a like and leaving me a comment. I read all of my comments and respond, although sometimes it takes me a little bit of time to get back, but I do. And I do new videos every Monday and Thursday. So I'd love if you'd consider subscribing. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.